Hi, Monica.
Hello, Elvis.
Thank you for having me today. Maybe to start with, who is Avocap?
Avocap Asset Managers is a regulated firm by Capital Markets Authority offering fund management services. This means that we are eligible to invest for our investors. They can give us their money and we invest for them and give them returns.
I think I'll start with your funds directly.
Yes.
Because I've been using Avocap, by the way.
I hope you enjoy.
Yes. One of the biggest questions I've had is this fund. The Arvocap Almasi Fixed Income Accumulation Fund.
Yes.
Very long name, why?
By the same regulation I've told you we operate under, the naming of a product must be as descriptive as possible so that the investor will not be lost in a fancy name without understanding what is really underlying. And that's why you can see it's called Avocap, meaning the owner of the fund, and Al-Masi is now the name we've given it, but we must go further and explain where does it invest in fixed income. And then the nature of this fund is accumulation. That's how the name Avocap Almasi Fixed Income Accumulation Fund. But for the purposes of investors, just know it as Al-Masi or the bond fund.
Avocap Almasi.
Yes.
So as, let me say, an average investor, what do these returns actually mean?
So these are the returns that we registered by the end of April 2025. Our funds went live last year on 3rd of June, so that's 11 months. In those 11 months, an investor who invested with us ₦1 million in Avocap Almasi Fund was able to make 24.69%. This means that on top of the 1 million, they now have an extra 246,000 on top of their investment. This fund invests purely in government bonds. Bonds are also known as fixed income assets because they have a coupon that comes every month or every 6 months. So what happens is when we receive money, we invest in government bonds, and then we don't just buy and hold the bonds, we trade them. There is an active bond market which transacts almost 10 billion worth of bonds on a daily basis. This fund, as you can see here, it has a minimum investment of 100,000, and you can top up any time with a minimum of 100,000. So when you go to the bonds market, you're not able to buy bonds of 100,000 with ease. As I've told you, it's a market that favors the big players. So what we've done is we've enabled our clients or the investors to be able to participate in the bonds market by as little as 100, as frequent as possible. You'll realize that if you have bought a bond of, say, the 100,000, and maybe 2 weeks later you have gotten another extra 100,000 and you want to buy the same bond, it might be very hard for you to get the same bond of that amount. So you might end up buying another bond that maybe does not have the same coupon and does not have the same frequency of payments. The fund has a lock-in period
Of 6 months.
6 months.
So 6 months you can't access your money.
You can't access your money, and it's a one-off. So you start today, for the next 6 months, you'll not be able to touch your money. You can add more, but you cannot touch. After 6 months, you can withdraw all or part, or just leave it and continue growing. So this fund, as the name suggests, accumulation, we are focusing on an investor accumulating, maybe for a long-term goal. Maybe you want to build your retirement home, or you want to work on your child's higher education, or a certain long-term, a certain business idea that requires quite some chunk of money. So you can work with our Al-Masi. It's a predictable fund, it has low risk, and it's a good fund.
Do you have access to your principal after 6 months?
Yes.
Okay.
After the 6 months and any time beyond that, you can access your money. Anytime within 48 hours, you will have your money.
So what I'm getting is the Al-Masi fund is something to, as you're calling it, it's a crown jewel for compound interest.
Yes, it is a crown jewel because it brings the beauty of investing in bonds in one place. You can be able to buy bonds with a minimum of 100,000.
Okay.
You can be able to top up any time, which might be a challenge on the other side. You are able to benefit from trading of bonds, which gives you capital gains, which if you are buying as a directly, you may not be able to actively trade the bonds. And the other thing is that you are able to enjoy the valuation gains because we are constantly valuing our fund. And so by valuing, you're able to get valuation gains.
Okay.
Yes.
So how does one get started with the Avocap Almasi?
It's simple. We are very digital. It's a digital era.
Yes.
So you just download our app. You create your account. You upload your KYC. And then straightforward to investing. So you can either directly deposit money from your M-Pesa or you can do a bank transfer. All those details are in our app, and you can be able to seamlessly do that.
I realized you have to update a cash balance in the app, and then now from that cash balance,
Yes.
you take that money and decide you want to put it in, like the Arvocap Almasi.
Yes.
Wow.
The reason we have that is because, as you can see, we have many funds. We do not want every account, every investment or every fund that you want to invest in, you have a different account. So with your one account, you're able to view all the investments. So for that reason, we have a cash account whereby when you are depositing money to Avocap, it comes to your cash account. Then from your cash account, you're able to distribute it to whichever fund you want. Supposing you are investing like 2 or 3 million, but you wanted $1 million to go to Al-Masi fund, you want 500,000 to go to an equities, maybe a local equities fund like we will see, and you want diversification further to our Africa equity funds, you can put some amount there, and you also want some money to go to the dollar investments, you can distribute that. Okay. So we are giving you the power to choose where to invest, to be able to create a portfolio that you can be able to have a diversified returns that will be able to absorb the economic shocks that keep coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go to the website, or you can actually just download the app on Play Store and App Store.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.